Hey, welcome to Bride or Race. Again, we are looking at Proverbs 6, 6 through 11. We're talking about going to the ant. So we've gone through the first part, and now we're into the rebuke, which starts at verse 9, where it says, "How long will you lie there, O sluggard? When will you rise from your sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man." So we went to school last time, now we're going into detention, and we're in trouble because we're acting like the sluggard. Now it's time for rebuke. So the wise man questions the sluggard, right? This is what he's saying. A sluggard is defined by Webster's 1828 dictionary as a person habitually lazy, idle, and inactive. Now, the church of the last generation has raised many sluggards, right? We have many sluggards in the church these days. I would say that. Many people who just don't want to work. And that's what, we had it's kind of interesting because we had the greatest generation, and then you get to the baby boomer generation, and they didn't really want to work that much. And then you get to my generation, Gen X, and don't want to work. And it's become, especially in the church, we just don't want to work. We don't want to try to do anything. We're just like, well, we'll stay in our churches. We'll send missionaries out. We'll do some outreach programs, and then we'll be good. And that's about it. So that's all we're satisfied with. But, we got a bunch of sluggards going around here. So he asks the question, how long will you lie there? He says the time for sleep has passed. That's the implication here. How long are you going to lie there? It's time to wake up. Morning has come. Isn't it time for you to get to work? Isn't it time to unbury your talent out of the ground and get to investing what you're supposed to be doing? Isn't it time to stop lying there, allowing the world to fall apart around you? That's the question. That's the call. I think that we need to learn from this is like, how long are you going to lay there? Like, stop using laziness as an excuse for your sinfulness. And laziness is sinfulness, right? You should be working. You should be doing something. You should be building something. Like, you should be harvesting. You should be looking at the ant and saying, okay, she's always building, always working, always growing things, always, really subduing what's going on around her, creating things around her. And here you are, just content to do nothing, to be on your phone, going on Twitter for, 5 hours a day and watching videos. It's like, no, we need to be building something. We need to be doing something. Now, there is time for rest and relaxation, yes, but even if you are, that's what, we get this picture of retirement too. It's just, it's now time for me to rest. No, you rest when you die. That's when the rest happens for a Christian. You don't rest until then. And so he says, you're being a sluggard. Like, what are you building? What are you giving? What are you storing up for your children? Is it just a broken down old house and, a few $100 in the bank account? Is that all you got? Great. So then he asks another question. When will you rise from your sleep? Are you so secure in your sluggardness, that's a word, that you won't rouse yourself? If not now, when? Actually, I don't even know a sluggard. Is sluggardness a word? I don't know. Let me go to the old sluggard. I don't think sluggardness is a word. Maybe I just made that up. You can sluggardize something, but let me look in a more modern dictionary. I always use the 1828 because I like to know, is sluggardness a word? But sluggishness is a word, but it won't give me sluggardness. So I don't think sluggardness is a word. Yeah, it just keeps going to sluggishness. You're being sluggish. So I created a word, sluggardness. Not a real word. I'm putting that in my notes. Not a real word. There we go. Secure in your sluggardness. You're a sluggard. And you got sluggardness. It's sluggish. But really, I want to the reason why I use sluggardness is because I don't want to lose the sluggard part. You are a sluggard. So, and so the question really is really, when will you rise from your sleep? The question is, are you so secure in you being a sluggard that you won't rouse yourself? If not now, when are you going to wake up? The sun has risen. When will you choose to work? The sun, S-O-N, has risen. When are you going to work? I mean, the Philistines are upon you. You slept like while Delila shaved you bald, right? with Samson. Like, man, the Philistines have come. They've cut all your hair off. When are you going to wake up, Samson? Stop sleeping, you moron. You're a sluggard. You're lying there sleeping while the Philistines are stealing your power from you. And you're allowing Delila to shave you bald. Like, what? Solomon was a sluggard. He's just laying there. When are you going to wake up? And that's the question for us too. When are you going to wake up? So the foolish person then makes excuses, right? That's what you hear all the time. I hear all the time with people in the church. They're just lazy. It's like, just a little sleep. I just need a little sleep. I know it's just a little slumber. I'm just folding my hands, right? Or as we might say, I'm just resting my eyes a bit. I'm not sleeping. I'm just resting my eyes. That's what the sluggard says. Romans 13:11-14 says, the day is at hand. It says, besides this, you know the time, that the hour has come for you to wake from sleep. For salvation is nearer to us now than when we first believed. The night is far gone, the day is at hand, so then let us cast off the works of darkness and put on the armor of light. Let us walk properly as in daytime, not in orgies and drunkenness, not in sexual immorality and sensuality, not in quarreling and jealousy. Put on the Lord Jesus Christ and make no provision for the flesh to gratify its desires. He's saying, hey, wake up. Now is the day, man. Like, before, when you were a sinner, living in sin, yeah, you were a sluggard. You can't be a sluggard and be a Christian. That's what he's saying. He's saying the hour has come. Now is time to wake up, right now. Stop sleeping all day. This is kind of where you get, where I'm talking about wokeness here, right? The world's idea of waking up. This is like, he's saying, you are a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ. You've been saved, and salvation, ultimate salvation is nearer than when you first believed, right? So when are you going to wake up? When are you going to start working? Right? This is not a cruise ship that you're on. You were at war. He says, put on the armor. Let's go. This is a fight. You're in a battle. And you're like, well, we're just going to sit back at home and, we'll send out some missionaries and, I'm going to evangelize. I'm just going to tell people about Jesus. Okay. Get to work then. What hills are you going to conquer? What are you going to build? What are you going to do that's like the ants here? If you're supposed to imitate the ant, consider her ways, then how are you doing that? I mean, she's preparing bread in summer and gathers her food in the harvest. She's continually working. When are you working? And he says, we got to walk as it's daytime now. You can't walk in the past. You can't walk in the dark like you used to be in, Cast off the work. Now is the daylight. Right now is daytime. Before you were in darkness. You lived in night. The night is far gone, right? It's noonday. Right now is the time for us to work. Now is the time for us to build. Now is the time for us to harvest. Now is the time for us to gather. Now is the time for us to do things for the Lord. Now is the time to destroy sin, right? You say, don't walk in this way. Don't walk in the way that people do. Not in orgies and drunkenness and sexual immorality and sensuality. He's talking about sensualness. Not in quarreling and jealousy, not fighting amongst each other. What's wrong with you people? Put on the Lord Jesus Christ. Don't make provision for the flesh. Don't pack a lunch for the flesh. Don't try to gratify its desires. That's darkness. That's where you once were. It's not dark anymore. Today is light. Today is the day of dawn, is the noonday. We're at noontime here. And so that's what he's saying here. Get to work, man. Stop. You're just going to lay around, sleep, and slumber, make excuses? Well, I can't fight for this because I'm just too tired. I just need to go back to sleep. No, he says, get to work. And then he says, there are dangerous consequences. And I'm going to go back to that. There's different types of work, right? He's talking about here about, there's personal sins. But all these have to do with singing. Well, drunkenness is usually by yourself. You can get yourself drunk. You don't get, well, I guess you can get other people drunk too, but they're kind of going. But you're doing these things with other people: orgies, sexual immorality, sensuality. You're trying to lure other people in. Quarreling and jealousy. You're fighting amongst each other, being sexual, getting drunk. Doing all that kind of stuff. That's no place. We don't have time for that. That was darkness time. That was when the night was here. Now it's light time. Now put on the armor of light and fight for the armor. Fight with the armor on. Fight for the date. And he says there's dangerous consequences here. That's kind of like finishes up here. He says you're going to sleep and do all this stuff, and then poverty will come upon you like a robber and want like an armed man. Poverty will come upon you. This applies to physical and spiritual poverty. It will come upon you like a robber and leave you with nothing. So, we can apply this to both physical and spiritual. Because if you're not going to do anything, and that's what Paul's talking about in Romans there, is the spiritual side. I mean, the physical side, yeah, if you're not going to work, if the time is to harvest and the time is to work, and you're supposed to work all the time, then poverty won't come upon you. But if you're just going to be lazy, you're going to be the sluggard and be inactive, yeah, then poverty will come upon you like a robber. It's going to steal everything you have because you're not earning anything. So being lazy obviously will lead to physical poverty, but also being spiritual lazy, it leads to spiritual poverty. It will come upon you like a robber. You will have nothing left. You'll be like, oh, I don't know why am I, he's talking to the church here and he's saying, put away these things. You're engaged in sexual morality and sensuality. Put that stuff away. Stop being sensual. What is wrong with you? That was for darkness time. That was when it was dark out, right? That's when the prostitutes and the adulterers and adulteresses are all having their heydays in the darkness, he says. That's what Job says. That's what Solomon says. He says, no, it's light time. That's what Paul's saying. No, this is light time for us, guys. It's noonday. We should be working. This is time to work. We're not here to gratify the desires of our flesh. We're here to fight that, to kill that, and to fight for the Lord with the armor of light on. So, yeah. But there's dangerous consequences. Again, poverty will come upon you, physical, spiritual, and it will come upon you like a robber and leave you with nothing. He's going to steal all your good stuff. You won't have anything left. And it will come irresistibly. It's like the armed man, he says. Within the wall. He's already made it past your defense because you've been sleeping. He's already in. Now he's stealing all your stuff. And you can't stop him because he's armed and you're not. You didn't pick up the armor because you were a sluggard. You were folding your hands, right? You're like, oh, a little sleep, a little slumber. Just let me fold my hands for a little bit here. And now poverty is upon you. And it won't stop. You didn't have any defenses. You didn't put the armor on. And now he's upon you, and that's the idea here too. You're unarmed and powerless. So, let me end there for today, and then we'll pick up with our conclusion, just a short conclusion next time to finish off